What happens to women's basketball if the 2026 WNBA season doesn't start on time, or doesn't happen at all? That's the fear quietly building right now, as negotiations between the league and the players' union drag on, with no new collective bargaining agreement finalized and real chatter about possible delays, a lockout, or a strike. Fans who just watched the WNBA explode in popularity are suddenly wondering if the momentum might hit a wall right when the sport is finally breaking through. And in the middle of all that uncertainty, one name keeps coming up as a kind of anchor for the future: Caitlin Clark. While executives and union reps argue over numbers, salary splits, and salary structures, Clark is doing something very different. She's doubling down on getting healthy, talking openly about how her body has changed, and putting a huge emphasis on being ready for Team USA and international play. For a lot of people, that has become the one reassuring thread in a very unstable moment. Because if the WNBA calendar goes sideways, Caitlin Clark in a USA jersey might be the main stage everyone rallies around. Let's start with where she is right now. After a spectacular rookie season with the Indiana Fever, Clark's second year did not go the way anyone expected. A lingering groin injury cost her almost the entire 2025 WNBA campaign. Instead of building on that debut year, she was limited to just 13 games. In those appearances, she still put up strong numbers by normal standards: 16.5 points, 8.8 assists, and 5 rebounds per game. But for someone who had just lit the league on fire, it was clearly a step down from her first-year production. Back in 2024, as a rookie, Clark averaged 19.2 points per game on 41.7% shooting from the field, hit 3.1 three-pointers a night, and routinely stretched defenses out to 30 feet. She had the league playing at her pace. In 2025, the injury took some of that edge away. Less explosion, less consistency, more uneven nights as she tried to manage pain and stay on the floor. She's been honest about it. No sugarcoating, no pretending it was fine. She has acknowledged that the groin issue affected her rhythm, her confidence at times, and definitely her ability to sustain her usual level of play game after game. But if you watched her recent appearance on NBC, you saw a different energy. In that interview, Clark talked about going back and looking at old footage from her Iowa days and noticing how much her body has changed since then, and she meant it in a good way. Stronger, more mature physically, more prepared for the grind of professional basketball. She admitted she only got into 13 games last year and said flat out she's itching to get back. Then she dropped the part that perked up a lot of ears. She's got USA basketball coming up, and she's already laser focused on being ready for that. Those comments told you a few important things. First, she feels like she's turned a corner with the injury. You don't talk that confidently about your body evolving unless you genuinely feel the difference in training and day-to-day work. Second, she's not just fixated on the Fever or the WNBA schedule. She's thinking bigger picture about her role with USA, about the FIBA Women's World Cup qualifying tournament, and about showing on the international stage that she's fully back. And for fans watching the WNBA's labor situation get more tense by the week, that's become a bit of a lifeline. Behind the scenes, the league and the Women's National Basketball Players Association are trying to hammer out a new CBA that will govern just about everything: salaries, revenue sharing, benefits, travel standards, long-term stability, and more. Both sides publicly say they want a deal, but the reality is, the longer this drags on without an agreement, the more the 2026 season hangs in the balance. There's already concern that if things don't come together soon, the planned May 8th WNBA season opener could be pushed back. On top of that, the league is preparing for expansion, with Toronto and Portland lined up to join, and those expansion drafts and events are also vulnerable to disruption if the labor talks stall. If enough dominoes fall the wrong way, you start hearing serious talk about a work stoppage. That can take the form of a lockout from the league side or a strike from the players. Either way, it means one thing for fans: no games, no Indiana Fever, no Las Vegas Aces, no New York Liberty. No Caitlin Clark in a WNBA uniform for a while, and that's why her emphasis on Team USA has hit so strongly. While the professional side of the sport is stuck in boardrooms and conference calls, the international side rolls on a separate track. The FIBA Women's World Cup qualifying tournament is approaching, and Clark has made it clear that she's planning to be there, fully locked in. For fans, that's a chance to see her play meaningful, high-level basketball, even if the WNBA calendar becomes a mess. It's more than just entertainment value. It's a reassurance that the face of the new era in women's basketball isn't going to disappear just because the league is negotiating. On the court, those World Cup qualifiers give Clark a perfect stage to answer lingering questions about the groin injury. Can she still move the same way? Does she still have the same range and lift on her shot? Is she still able to handle contact and play with the same pace and aggression that made her so dangerous in college and as a rookie?
If she goes out there in a USA jersey and looks like the old Caitlin Clark, bombing threes, running the offense, setting up teammates, and competing against some of the best international talent in the world, it erases a lot of doubts before the WNBA even tips off again. It shows not just the American audience, but the entire basketball world that she's still one of the brightest young stars in the game. And make no mistake, she knows that pressure is there. When she talks about her body changing since Iowa, she's talking about the process most top players go through in the pros, adding strength, fine-tuning conditioning, learning how to manage the wear and tear of multiple seasons, and finding ways to stay productive even when you're not at 100% physically. Her injury-hit 2025 season forced that learning curve on her early. Instead of brushing it off, she's using it. Mentally, she comes across as more grounded now. She said there were times when watching from the sidelines was hard, but it also forced her to see the game from a different angle. Watching her team, watching the league, watching how defenses adjusted to her when she was on the floor, all of that becomes film in her head that she can draw from when she returns. That's why a lot of Fever fans and WNBA followers don't just see her as coming back, they see her coming back smarter. Layer on top of that the reality that the league itself is walking into the most consequential labor negotiation in its history, and you start to understand why so many people are pinning their hopes on Clark staying on track. If the CBA gets done and the May 8th season starts as planned, you've got a best-case scenario. A healthy Caitlin Clark returning from injury, a more stable Indiana Fever team around her, expanded markets in Toronto and Portland, and a league negotiated under a new structure that ideally benefits both players and owners. That's the growth arc WNBA supporters want. If it doesn't go smoothly, if there's a delay or even a lost season, then Team USA in international competitions become even more crucial. They become the bridge that keeps interest alive, keeps stars visible, and keeps the conversation around women's basketball going while league business is handled in the background. In that scenario, Clark's commitment to USA basketball isn't just about medals or national pride, it becomes a way of protecting the sport's momentum. Right now, fans have two parallel storylines in front of them. On one track, you have lawyers, agents, and league officials trying to hammer out an agreement that satisfies both the WNBA's financial realities and the players' demands for better pay, better revenue sharing, and improved conditions. It's complicated, it's tense, and until it's done, nobody really relaxes. On the other track, you have Caitlin Clark rehabbing, lifting, shooting, watching old Iowa clips, talking about how much stronger she feels now, and circling dates on the calendar where she'll put USA across her chest again and step onto an international floor. One track is unstable, the other, at least for now, feels solid. That's why her determination is hitting so hard emotionally. It gives people something to hold on to that doesn't depend on legal language or bargaining tables. It's just basketball. A star player coming off a tough year, doing everything she can to be ready when it matters most. Her presence at Team USA training camps, her interviews about being itching to get back, her visible work in the gym, all of that sends a very clear message. She's not going anywhere. Injury or not, CBA or not, delayed season or not, she's preparing for whatever version of the future shows up. For a sport that has spent decades fighting for consistent coverage and respect, having someone that committed at the center of it right now is huge. So while everyone refreshes updates about the WNBA CBA talks, watches headlines about expansion to Toronto and Portland, and worries about the words lockout and strike, there's at least one thing that feels predictable. Caitlin Clark will be ready when Team USA calls, and she'll treat that court like the biggest stage in the world, whether the 2026 WNBA season starts on time or not. What do you think happens first? A finalized WNBA CBA that locks in the 2026 season, or Caitlin Clark dropping a statement performance for Team USA that reminds everyone exactly why she changed women's basketball in the first place? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you're locked in on both the labor talks and Clark's comeback, stay tuned, because how those two stories collide could define the next era of the WNBA.